Alright, so for this sixth video in the Catalyst 101 series, I want to just share a few design tips with you. A few things that I've learned over the years when working with WordPress and just websites and web design in general. Basically, there's three types of people designing websites. There's the do-it-yourselfers. They're generally going to be the ones that are using the dynamic child theme, and they're going to be going crazy, designing their website the way they want it. Then there's the don't do it at all, which are going to be those people who are either going to install the dynamic child theme and then just import a custom skin and then maybe or a dynamic skin and then maybe make a few tweaks and then be done with it, or more likely in the future as we launch our child theme store in the near future, you're going to just probably want to purchase a child theme, a pre-designed, custom design, and install it and be done with it. And that's fine. And then, of course, there's the Catalyst like developer or Catalyst power user that is going to either create their own child theme or maybe use custom coding or a combination of the dynamic child theme and coding or whatever. But these general tips are for the do-it-yourselfers and the set it for and those that just don't want to do much of a design at all. And the basic tip that I want to give is that when in doubt, don't basically. When in doubt, keep things simple. Less is best when it comes to web design, unless you really know what you're doing and you can really pull off a bold look, lots of strong colors, strong backgrounds, things like that. I mean, to be honest, the even though the default design or style of Catalyst when you first install it is really just there for kind of a clean slate, blank canvas to work with. It's actually a nice, just clean design that you can just make a few tweaks to and kind of make it your own in a sense, and yet it can still just be very clean and light and not overpowering. And what you'll find is that when you have a very light, clean design, any kind of images or content that you have inside, which really is the most important part of your website, is going to really pop much more and really, it's not going to be distracted, or people aren't going to be distracted from it by a crazy bold design around that frames that content. So that's something to just keep in mind. As you can see right here, the only tweaks we've made so far is added a custom logo, and we changed the structure to just a single right sidebar, and we manipulated the widths a little bit, but that's it. So for example, in this particular case, that might be all you need just to get started in your blog or whatever, your business or whatever. Now you may want to make some changes. You may say, well, this looks too much like the default installation. I want to really make this my own. That's fine. Go in and maybe tweak the background color. Maybe make a few changes to your nav bar, or maybe import a dynamic skin to kind of get started on a custom design. But just keep that in mind. I'd really encourage you. I've seen many sites out there that running Catalyst or really any WordPress theme or whatever, where people feel the need to just go crazy and design and design and design, and then they come out with something that's either really tacky or just kind of puts people off when they first land on their site because they haven't let themselves ease in to kind of becoming a designer using WordPress and of course Catalyst. So just there's just something to keep in mind. The other thing I was going to mention, and I see this all the time, and that is padding or margins. What happens is people will make changes to the dimensions of the site, to the structure, and maybe in doing so they'll lose certain padding. And if you don't have equal amounts of padding around certain content areas or enough padding, it can really make your content feel either uneven or squished. So this is one of the biggest kind of pet peeves I have, and when I say pet peeve, I really just mean something that I see, and I'm always like, oh man, I wish they just tweak this one little thing, and it would look so much better. So let me give you a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Let's say that you decide you want to get rid of the padding around your wrap. So if you do this, you would just go to Dynamic Options, Wrap, and as you can see, the wrap padding, there's top, bottom, and left, right. So let's get rid of the top, bottom, and left, right. We'll set them both to 0, where they were 20. So we set them to 0, we refresh. Now as you can see, you've lost that padding, and that's fine, but what's happened is now you have like your content is actually sticking to the sides and your logo is kind of, not nicely evened out. So that doesn't look really good. And I've seen this many times, this type of look. Well, with Catalyst, for example, in this particular scenario, you're going to want to add some left-right container padding to accommodate. So if we go to Dynamic Options Wrap, and then we go to Container Wrap Padding, there's top bottom, which already has a value of 20, and then left right, which has a value of 0. Let's add 20 pixels, and that'll add 20 to both sides. Save our changes. Catalyst makes adjustments accordingly. We refresh, and now as you can see, there's a 20 pixel left and right padding in your container, and now your content, as you can see, doesn't look so much nicer. It's nicely evened out, has space, and it's much easier to, easier on the eyes and just easier to read. But now, as you can see, also your header and navbar is stuck to the sides, which is actually a good looking design in some cases. But of course, what you're dealing with too, though, is your logo is kind of stuck. So let's move the logo around. Why don't we go ahead and increase the height of your header by 20 pixels, because we used to have 20 pixels of padding from the wrap that we've now lost, so we need to add that back in a sense. And then we'll also add we'll push this logo image to the right by 20 pixels. So what we'll do is go to Dynamic Options Header, and then under Header Dimensions, we're going to go to Header Height, and we're going to go from 90 to 110. Oops, 110. And then we're going to go to the Header Left Image Logo Margins, and left margin, we're going to set that to 20. So I'm going to save changes, refresh, and now as you can see, it's pushed it over to the right and it's increased the wrap, and obviously as you can see I didn't accommodate for the height. So let me actually add a top margin of 20. That's what I meant to do. Alright, refresh. There we go. Okay, so now as you can see, we've pushed it back over to the right, down, and increase the height of the header to kind of reposition the logo. And actually, for my preference, I'd actually prefer the left margin to only be 10 pixels, I think. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, that looks a lot better. So now it's positioned. You see the difference? It's like even that little change, for me, I was looking at it, I was like, something's not quite right. And I made the change, and now to me, it looks perfect. Maybe it looks, maybe not to you. You could adjust it or whatever, but that looks much better. So anyway, this isn't to get too specific about certain things as much as to just say be aware, less is often best. Ease into your design, let yourself get used to the controls, the design options, and just kind of make tweaks slowly. As you get better, you can be bolder, and you'll never find yourself over designing your website. And then just be aware of space, padding equal amounts of space around things, and just, if something doesn't look quite right, don't be like, whatever. Figure it out. Figure out what it is and tweak it so it looks perfect. That one little tweak to the logo makes it look great versus not quite right. And then, of course, if you have a specific question, like let's say you got rid of the wrap padding and then you lost that space for your content on the sides, and maybe you didn't know about the container left right padding. Well, that's fine. Go to the forum and then just post a quick question, either a link to your site, maybe a screenshot. Link is always best if you can, and then just say, hey, I'm trying to get some space here, can you help me out? Or you could even just post in the section where we post new sites and everything, and you just say, hey, can you guys look at my site and let me know what you think. We try to be really honest and just let you know, hey, might want to tweak this, you might want to add a little space here, do whatever, and just you'll learn in those experiences as well, kind of different opinions, and you'll just kind of learn how to refine your design and things like that. So anyway, I hope you found this useful. In the final video in this Catalyst 101 series, I'm going to talk about support and how to get it. So I'll see you then.